Congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeye football team for winning their 9th national championship. And thank you for tuning into a special episode of Spinning My Dad's Vinyl, celebrating that achievement. It was an interesting start to that game, with all those runs by the Irish quarterback to score and then a late run from Notre Dame trying to catch up, but the Buckeyes prevailed. If you grew up in Ohio, especially in the 1960s and 70s, you were probably an OSU fan no matter where you ended up going to college in the state. My parents certainly were, and they installed the love of Buckeye football on us as well. During the early 1970s, the Bucks offense featured a back who is still the only two-time winner of the Heisman Trophy given to the country's best player each year, Archie Griffin. But we're here to listen to one of those albums my dad collected over the years, more for what's on it than to really listen to it with any frequency. In fact, it doesn't look like he did much playing of this album at all. This record recaps in great detail the 1974 season, which ended in a Rose Bowl loss to USC for the national championship. You're going to hear some very familiar names if you are an older college football fan, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to play the whole album with only one interruption at the end of side one. Each side is 45 minutes long. So, get ready to hear Ohio football history through the voice of Marv Holman to celebrate the 2024 NCAA Football Championship in this special volume, History of a Champion, OHIO.
Archie Griffin has got to be the greatest running back ever. He's even better than John Brockington.
Wait a minute there, son. You're overlooking Matt Snell, Paul Warfield, Bob White, and Bob Ferguson. They were all great in their own right.
Hold on, youngsters. There were 3 Ohio State Heisman Trophy winners before them that I haven't heard you mention yet. Hopalong Cassidy, Vic Janowitz, and Les Horvath.
Why, you whippersnappers never saw Wesley Fessler feat Stinchcomb or Chick Harley play. Old Chick Harley could run circles around anybody you're talking about.
And so it goes, the never-ending and never-to-be-resolved debate over who was Ohio State's greatest player. It really doesn't matter, though. Each was great in his own time. What is important is that they were all super players for outstanding Buckeye teams. And that's what this album is all about, rediscovering Columbus. In 1974, the Ohio State Buckeyes played their 85th season of college football. In 1890, Columbus took its first step toward becoming the football capital of the world when the first Buckeye team ever beat Ohio Wesleyan 20-14. That contest, played in an open field before a handful of curious spectators, was the beginning of the wild bedlam, the excitement, the huge crowds which accompany Ohio State football today. The 85-year history of Buckeye football is so rich in tradition, in drama, in outstanding performances, that it's impossible to capture it all on a 90-minute recording. Perhaps the best way to document this glorious gridiron history is to begin with the most recent past, the 1974 season, and to use it as a springboard to relive the still shining moments of the more distant past. On September 14, 1974, the Buckeyes traveled to the North Country to take on the Minnesota Gophers in the season opener. Coach Woody Hayes was hoping to settle the issue early and give his reserves a chance to perform under game conditions. But the Gophers played tougher than expected, yet not tough enough, as the Buckeyes battled to a 34-19 win. It looked like a typical Ohio State rout as the Buckeyes jumped to a 28-3 lead.
Buckeyes silver helmets up to the line of scrimmage, split formation. Hayes wide to the left. Ohio State third down and about 3 on the Minnesota 10. Hand off to Griffin, cracks the middle, gets the 5. Touchdown, Ohio State. No flags, a 10-yard burst right up the middle, and a happy Archie Griffin lifted high in the air in the end zone. Ohio State on top. Here's Ohio State leading 7-3 and threatening to put another on the scoreboard. The full house backfield. Johnson in the middle. Archie Griffin to the left. Bashnagel to the right. Green has them down on the Minnesota 4. First and goal. Handoff. It's Johnson just burrows his way and finds the Minnesota end zone. It's a Buckeye touchdown on the drive, and Ohio State now leading in the game with a score of 13-3. And ball is moved to about the 36-yard line of Minnesota. Buckeyes leading 14-3. Champ Henson breaks out in the open. May go 20, 15, 10, 5. Henson goes in for the touchdown. Number 25, his big career, his first carry of the 1974 season. Champ Henson bolts 36 yards, and the Buckeyes lead with a score 20-3.
Ohio out of the huddle into a straight T formation. The backs are in close. Green on the option play to the left, goes in easily, untouched. Green faking to Johnson to the inside, rolled outside the left end, and went in with ridiculous ease. I don't think there was a hand laid on him.
But then, suddenly, the Minnesota Gophers came alive and narrowed the margin to 28-19. Then, midway in the fourth quarter, Cornelius Green took off on a 57-yard scamper, and the Minnesota Gophers were finished for this particular afternoon.
Third down and 5 for Ohio State. The line of scrimmage, the Buckeye 43-yard line. Late in the fourth quarter, the ball is given to Green. Green on a rollout, goes down the sideline to the 40, to 35, to 30, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Cornelius Green of Ohio State. And that time, they faked to the inside to Griffin. Minnesota jammed in to stop the play, but Green kept the ball, rolled out around his own right end, and went right straight down the sideline to score from 57 yards out. And Ohio State now scores on a quick-hitting, explosive play with speedster Cornelius Green going 57 yards down the north sideline to score. And the Buckeyes take the lead now 34-19 over Minnesota.
Although the final victory margin of 15 points didn't seem too close, it was the closest any opponent would come to beating the powerhouse Buckeyes through the first 8 games of '74. It also brought to mind the seat-squirming finish to the '71 OSU-Minnesota game, in which the Buckeyes preserved a 14-12 victory in the pouring rain by stopping a last-minute Gopher 2-point conversion attempt.
57 seconds remaining. Here are a couple of key calls coming up. 50 seconds remaining. And they come out into a full house backfield with Henry in the ball game as the left halfback. And he's rolling out to his left, running for the end zone, and he gets in. Henry scores! 14-12, Ohio over Minnesota. And here comes what we know is going to be a 2-point attempted conversion. We have 39 seconds remaining. And it may be a drab afternoon, but we have an exciting football game with a great climax coming up. And Murray Warmath now sends Anderson in with the play for the conversion with 39 seconds remaining, and they're going to go for 2, as everybody expected. They're in the eye. Anderson is wide to the right. Curry rolling out again, trying to get in, but does he? We don't see a sign. I don't think he got in. We don't see a sign from anybody. I don't think he got in. He did not get in.
No, he did not, but he almost did.
He almost did. And they held, and there are some words being exchanged, and the fans are going. Listen to the fans. And Cook is arguing with one of the officials, and there have been a few, shall we say, words exchanged on either side of the field. But the officials rule that he did not get in. Womack is asking the officials what the ruling was, and the score is 14-12 Ohio State.
Ohio State first played Minnesota in 1921 and beat them 27-0. Iolus Huffman was an All-American that year at tackle. The year before, he was an All-American at guard and teamed with Pete Stinchcomb to lead Ohio State to its first Rose Bowl appearance. Stinchcomb and Huffman also teamed with another All-American in 1919 to bring the Buckeyes their first victory over arch-rival Michigan. The other man's name was Chick Harley. Those who saw him perform on the gridiron swear that his deeds will never be duplicated, let alone surpassed. A 3-year All-American, a World War I aviator, and a romantic hero of the first magnitude, Chick Harley was the prime mover behind the decision to build Giant Ohio Stadium, completed in 1922. In 1974, the Buckeyes' first home game was against Oregon State. It was the first meeting ever between the two schools, and for the Oregon State Beavers, they would probably prefer that it be their last, losing 51-10. Things started going downhill for the Beavers right at the opening kickoff.
Cordaney comes forward, kicks it right down the hash mark. It may bounce to the end zone, being picked up deep on the comeback. It's McKenzie. McKenzie comes upfield and is brought down and fumbles the ball. Fumbles the ball on the 20, did he? Let's see. And the Buckeyes do take over. Who got that? Aaron Brown, a freshman. All right, Ohio State on the one. It's second down and goal. Full house backfield. They're on the Oregon State one. The handoff. Johnson hammers in. Touchdown, Ohio State. Buckeyes go ahead 6-0.
The Buckeyes were awesome on this sunny afternoon, scoring on 4 of their first 5 possessions in the first half, and held a 23-3 advantage at the intermission. In the second half, the Buckeyes took the kickoff and immediately rang up 6 more points.
Koulis approaches the ball and kicks to Ray Griffin. It'll carry instead to Willis at the 4. He's at the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, breaks into the clear. He's at the 50, the Oregon State 40. He's going to go all the way. A 96-yard kickoff return by Lenny Willis. And you talk about breaking out with a bang. There it is, 96 yards from the 4 all the way across the goal line, and Ohio State leads 29-3.
By the fourth quarter, the Buckeyes were well out in front by a 44-3 score, and Coach Woody Hayes had the chance to showcase some of the younger talent on his squad. For 2 years, the college football fan had marveled at the exploits of one Archie Griffin. After the Buckeyes' 51-10 trouncing of Oregon State, they would once again be singing the praises of Griffin, only this time Archie's younger brother, Ray.
Griffin, Johnson, and Hyatt comprise the running backs. The ball is given off to Ray Griffin on a counter. He's over for a touchdown. Ray Griffin scores his first collegiate touchdown, and he is being congratulated there as the little guy, a freshman from Eastmore High School, goes over to score, and he's being mobbed. And Archie is down there to congratulate him. The ball is given to Griffin. Griffin finds a hole. He is over for a touchdown. Ray Griffin goes over for a touchdown right up the middle. It's sort of a twisting, turning run. And there is the second touchdown by Ray Griffin.
This was the latest of many encounters over the years between the Buckeyes and the West Coast powers. The first encounter was the Rose Bowl of 1920, when California blinded the Buckeyes 28-0. Ohio State had to wait 29 years for its next Rose Bowl chance against the Golden Bears and revenge that earlier loss by a score of 17-14. In 1972, the Buckeyes again met the University of California, this time in regular season competition. The Golden Bears were clinging to a slim 12-9 lead late in the third quarter when quarterback Greg Hare teamed with Rick Galbos to set up the go-ahead touchdown.
They're in a full house backfield. Lippert, Henson, and Galbus. And Hare gets away from one man, gets away from another, and throwing long for Galbus, hits him on the 20. Galbus at the 15, at the 10, the 5, and down to the 3. Galbus at the 3-yard line. A tremendous effort by Greg Hare, who wriggled clear of 3 tacklers, got the pass away to Galbus, and then a great effort by Galbus on his own from the 18-yard line down to the 4. Lippert, Henson, and Gaffney in the full house T backfield. It is Henson. Touchdown, Ohio. 15-12, Ohio State leading by 3 points.
Then, on California's next possession, the Buckeyes sent the Golden Bears into permanent hibernation when Rick Middleton picked off a pass.
Cruz looking for somebody to throw to, being chased. It's intercepted by Middleton to the 40, the 35, the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and down he goes on about the 8-yard line. First and goal to go for Ohio.
Then, in 3 very methodical plays, the Buckeyes moved in for what proved to be the winning touchdown.
Again, the full house backfield. Camp Henson is the fullback. And it's a... Did he get in? Yes, it is a touchdown. It is a touchdown. Henson getting his second one. And Ohio breaks on top 21-12.
From that point on, the Buckeyes were never headed as they cruised to a 35-18 victory. When the Buckeyes first defeated California in the 1950 Rose Bowl, they were paced by guard Bob Momsen, center Bob McCullough, and halfback Vic Janowitz. All 3 would go on to win All-America honors before their collegiate careers were over. In fact, Janowitz became Ohio State's second Heisman Trophy winner, following in the footsteps of Les Horvath.
It was a great satisfaction by meeting such wonderful people, and I've always thought people in athletics are probably the greatest people in the world.
Vic Janowitz performed some amazing feats carrying the football, but one of his most memorable feats was performed with his foot in 1950 against Michigan in the so-called Blizzard Bowl. Broadcaster Jack Buck, who did the play-by-play that day, recalls Janowitz's field goal and the polar conditions in which the game was played.
I had the pleasure of broadcasting the Blizzard Bowl game, Ohio State and Michigan. It was 3-2 at the half. Ohio State was ahead. Janowitz kicked a field goal into the wind, into the snow, from an angle about 35 yards out. It was an unbelievable kick. And then Michigan, with Ortman at quarterback, scored. They blocked Janowitz's punt late in the game, scored the touchdown, and went to the Rose Bowl as a result. The spotting boards were useless. You had to open the windows in order to see. When you opened the windows while the snow came in, and I had a mechanized spotting board which froze up on me, and I couldn't use it.
Another great back in Ohio State football history was speedy Paul Warfield, who starred for the Buckeyes in the early 1960s.
It sails down to about the 5-yard line. Picking it up is Paul Warfield. He's back to the 10. He's at the 15. Warfield might get into the secondary. He might go all the way on his foot. Warfield is finally tackled on the 30-yard line of Iowa.
There have been 4 players in the history of Ohio State football to win the Heisman Trophy. The first was durable Les Horvath in 1944.
This has meant a lot in the sense it again, is an honor that, can never be taken away, and certainly has probably grown in stature in recent years. At that particular time, it was an important trophy. It certainly had gotten as much recognition nationally as it has in probably the last 10 or 12 years.
In the third game of the 74 campaign, the Buckeyes faced Southwest Conference foe Southern Methodist. Although SMU's defense hung tough, the OSU offensive machine rolled on, leading the Buckeyes to a 24-8 victory. The Buckeyes scored on their first possession by going 69 yards for the touchdown.
Buckeyes 1st and 10 on the 15, right smack in front of the goalpost, driving south. Johnson the fullback, Griffin is the tailback. Green gives to Archie, tries the middle, big hole, he'll go in. Archie Griffin, 15-yard burst up the middle, gets his 3rd touchdown of the season, and here's a happy Ohio State band.
But the real star of this game turned out to be unheralded Brian Baschnagel. Playing in the shadows of the Griffins, Greens, Hensons, and Johnsons, Baschnagel really turned it on against SMU. In the second quarter, he gave the Buckeyes a 14-0 lead by going 44 yards to pay dirt.
11-17 to go in the first quarter, and the Ohio State rated a 39-point favorite. Have found the Mustangs tough to crack so far. Here's the offense. Green gives to, it's Baschnagel, the right side. Big hole to the 35, the 30. He's going to go 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Byron Baschnagel, 44 yards down the eastern sideline.
And in the fourth quarter, he put the Buckeyes on the scoreboard again. First, he took off on a 64-yard run.
Ohio out of the huddle. Henson is the fullback. The I-back is
Griffin. The ball is given off to Baschnagel on a reverse. He's at the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45. He breaks into the clear. He's down to the SMU 30. May get caught from behind, and out of bounds he goes. Another great run by Brian Baschnagel. Farley Burrell came across field and had Baschnagel hemmed in and just simply caught him and drove him out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Then, just a few moments later, he found himself on the end of a Cornelius Green pass. Second down and 8, Ohio State's ball, the line of scrimmage, the SMU 10-yard line. I formation for the Buckeyes. Cornelius Green, the quarterback. He's gone all the way on offense. Green bootlegging back to the left, tries to outrun one man, throws it in the end zone. Touchdown to Baschnagel. Touchdown to Brian Baschnagel. So that was poetic justice that Baschnagel would get the touchdown, and that is his second touchdown of the day. From Green to Baschnagel, Green set that up. He is a dangerous runner, and once he rolls out, you've got to worry about the run. SMU came in to defend him, and then Green just literally dumped it off to Baschnagel for a score, and Ohio State goes 75 yards in 3 plays to score a touchdown, and Baschnagel now has 125 yards and 7 carries. Down through the years, the Buckeyes have taken on many of the great powers in the great Southwest. In 1963, they opened their season by defeating Texas A&M 17-0. That team featured another famous player in Ohio State history, hard-running Matt Snell, who later went on to star in professional football with the New York Jets.
The flanker goes in motion, and it's Snell who scores. He fumbled, but apparently it's moved, and he crossed the goal line before he lost possession of the ball. He had scored and then was hit and lost the ball, but the touchdown counts, the second for Ohio State. And they're out in front 13-0 now over Texas A&M with a try for extra points to come.
This has been called an age of electronics, with miracle inventions like the computer, television, the electric toothbrush, and tape recorders. Unfortunately, many great Buckeye football events took place before the advent of audio and videotape. However, a few pieces of vintage play-by-play action still remain. Here's a brief excerpt from the 1946 Buckeye game.
Out of the huddle come the Buckeyes. Here's a decision for the young quarterback, Spencer. It's a T formation. Spencer is in close. Spencer takes that ball. He fades back. Going to throw a forward pass. It's intercepted by Illinois. And there he goes. Intercepted at the 1-yard line. He's going for a touchdown. It is Blankovich. He's up to midfield. Steelan's wide. Ohio State's playing. He's up to the 5. He's over for a touchdown. There's a run of some 99 yards by Blankovich. Oh, listen to that crowd.
And one of the oldest authentic game action highlights available also happens to be one of the most important. The historic 1935 Ohio State-Notre Dame game. It has been called by many the greatest college football game ever played. Ohio State had a powerful team featuring 3 All-America linemen, Merle Went, Inwood Smith, and Gomer Jones. These men led the Buckeyes to a 7-1 season, including a 38-0 trouncing of Michigan. The one loss was this shocking 18-13 battle with the Fighting Irish.
Shakespeare has it. He's dropping back to throw. It's a long one. It's complete. A touchdown for Notre Dame. Wayne Milner caught Shakespeare's pass for a touchdown. Notre Dame's gone out in front, 18-13. Place is a madhouse.
The Buckeyes ran their 74 season total to 4 wins without a loss by burying Washington State 42-7 in the Great Pacific Northwest. The Buckeyes took control of the game from the opening kickoff, moving 50 yards for their first touchdown. On their next possession, the Buckeyes upped the count to 14-0, and on the ensuing kickoff, the Washington State Cougars fumbled, and an immortal name in Ohio State history, a generation past, resurfaced to make the recovery.
Here's the kick by Spadani. Bounces, going to be picked up on the play by Vern Chamberlain, the fullback. Vern over the 20, fumble on the play, loose ball on the 24. They scramble for it. Huge scramble on the Washington State, and it's Ohio State's ball. Ohio State's ball, and they're still unpiling them on the 24, and let's see who came up with it. So the Buckeyes, leading 14-0, will have it again. Looks like Cassidy. Craig Cassidy, I believe, recovered that. He did. Craig, the son of Hopalong Cassidy, 6-foot junior from Columbus Whetstone High. Marley has to be happy on that.
Capitalizing on their good fortune, the Buckeyes moved in for their third score of the afternoon.
First and goal on the 1. Green has them down, sends it as Henson cracking, and he's in. Champ Henson goes 2 yards deep in the end zone. It's his second touchdown of the game, Ohio State's third, and the fullbacks have done all the scoring this afternoon so far.
Washington State was totally stymied by the Buckeye defense. After forcing the Cougars into a punting situation, the Buckeyes took the ball on their own 25-yard line and very quickly made the score 28-0.
Ohio State leading 21-0 here, and the position gives off to Archie Griffin, breaks open 30, cuts to the right to the 45 and the 40. He's open, 50, he'll go all the way, 40, 30, 25, 15, 10, 5. Archie Griffin goes 75 yards for a touchdown.
By the end of the first half, the Ohio State Buckeyes held a comfortable 35-7 lead. In the third quarter, they added one more touchdown to account for the final score of 42-7.
Line of scrimmage, the 5-yard line. It is 2nd and 4. Green with a straight T formation backfield. The backs are in close. Green with the ball, rolling right. Touchdown, Green of Ohio State. As he just leaps into the end zone and Ohio scores. As Green options, rolls out to the right, found a hole inside the tackle and goes in to score. And Ohio State goes up on top 41-7.
Following the win over Washington State, the Buckeyes took on Wisconsin and made their record 5-0, demolishing the Badgers 52-7. Wisconsin was actually leading in the ball game 7-3 when, midway through the first quarter, Archie Griffin cashed in from 8 yards out.
Buckeyes now 2nd down and 7. They have the ball in the Wisconsin 8. Wisconsin leading 7-3. Buckeyes threatening. Crowd grows silent. Snap of the ball to Green to give to Archie Griffin. Big hole! Bounces to the goal line and he's in. And Ohio State leads. The Buckeyes 9, Wisconsin 7, and a beautiful 8-yard run. And Archie just took the last man with him into the end zone and just barely made it. But an inch is as good as a mile, and he made it in. Archie's touchdown, number 6 of the year, and he is tied with Jim Phillips of Illinois for the Big Ten scoring lead.
Even though the final score would not indicate it, the Badgers proved tough on this October afternoon, at least in the first half. On their next possession, Wisconsin moved all the way to the Buckeye 32, where their drive stalled. The Buckeyes took over and found the going equally as rough. But a costly clipping penalty on an Ohio State punt proved to be Wisconsin's undoing. Given a second chance, the Buckeyes moved all the way down to the Badgers 16, where on 4th down, Brian Baschnagel scored.
Ohio State leading 10-7. Crowd begins to buzz. Wisconsin brings practically everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Full house backfield. Johnson's at full. Cornelius Green looks back to his backfield, calls the signals. 4th and 1, Ohio State. And Cornelius Green options to the outside. Got the first down, got the 10. He pitches out to the trailer Baschnagel. It's touchdown. It is a touchdown. Brian Baschnagel on the pitch. And it's a touchdown on what had been a first down play, and Baschnagel takes it in on Cornelius Green's option. A beautiful 16-yard option pitch-out play. Baschnagel, the trailer, got the ball, and Marv, we had to wait. It looked like it might have been close to being a forward pass, but the referee says it's Ohio State 16, Wisconsin 7.
The Badgers tried to rectify for their costly mistake by taking to the air. But all they ended up doing was burrowing their hole even deeper when Bruce Rule picked off a Greg Bolick pass.
3rd down and 7, Wisconsin on their own 31. Ohio State leading 17-7. Bolick drops back, rolls back to about his 22, cocks his arm, floats one downfield. It is intercepted. How was it inbound? Rule intercepts it. Bruce Rule gets it on the Ohio State 46.5. What a dandy leaping interception by Bruce Rule.
The Buckeyes then moved 53 yards in 8 plays to make the score 24-7 in favor of Ohio State.
Here's Ohio State on Wisconsin's 11. 3rd down and 1, leading 17-7. Green, long count, straight backfield. Ride play, keeps himself. He's going to roll in for the touchdown, and he brandishes the ball in the air in victory celebration. He rolls to his left, and Ohio State leads 23-7.
From that point on, school was out, as the Buckeyes outscored the Badgers in the second half by a 28-0 count and cruised to an easy 52-7 win. The Buckeyes' next opponent was the Indiana Hoosiers, and for Indiana, it turned out to be a day of great remorse. The Buckeyes struck on their first possession when Archie Griffin scored from 19 yards out.
Long count. Both ends in tight. Pitch out. Griffin trying to swing the end. Got blocking. Turns it 15-10. He's going to go in. It's a touchdown. Archie Griffin goes around right in. 20 yards.
On their next possession, the Buckeyes scored again, and once more it was Archie Griffin, this time from 12 yards away.
Archie has 49 yards, unofficially. Breaking the huddle, David Hazel split wide to the left. Bashnagel slot back to the left. Griffin tries the middle, finds a hole. Daylight, touchdown! Archie Griffin right up the middle with a most to the outside. And Ohio State has scored in their first two possessions, and they now lead 13-0 over Indiana.
On their third possession, the Buckeyes made the score 21-0. This time, the drive was all Cornelius Green, the fleet Ohio State quarterback, who passed and ran his way to the end zone. First, he hooked up with Brian Bashnagel on a pass play that went for 44 yards.
Split out to the right, David Hazel. Green gives to... Does he? No, he fakes. Throwing a long floater down here for Bashnagel. Bashnagel's got it on the Indiana 38, and down he goes. Beautiful high floater, a beautiful fake to Griffin. Rod Lawson made the tackle, and Bashnagel has 3 receptions for the afternoon, and that was a long one.
And it was Green who eventually rambled into the end zone.
Ohio State, 2nd down and 9 on the Indiana 19. Green takes the snap, gets himself, bootlegs to the right, 15 to 10 to 5. He's going to go in. Touchdown, Cornelius Green. Beautiful bootleg play. Circled his left end with the ball on his hip. Goes 19 yards, and Ohio State turning the game into an early rout, leading at this moment by the score of 20-0.
By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, the Buckeyes were holding a commanding 49-3 lead that would eventually end 49-9. However, there was still some excitement lingering for the Ohio State partisans. Archie Griffin, college football's Mr. Everything, was zeroing in on Otis Armstrong's all-time Big Ten rushing record. On Ohio State's first possession of the fourth quarter, he gained that record.
The regular backfield is in there. The pitch back to Griffin. Griffin off left tackle to the 40, to the 45. He's tackled at the 45-yard line. Rodney Harris comes up from the safety position to stop him. And now they're picking Griffin up. And Griffin has evidently surpassed Otis Armstrong's record. Now, that would be my guess. He needed 141 yards to do it. And let's see, Joe, what kind? Yes, 145 yards. So Archie Griffin is now the all-time rushing leader in Big Ten football. That's why Griffin was in there. Griffin needed 141 yards to get it, and he now has 145. So the all-time career rushing leader in Big Ten football history is Archie Griffin. And we are at the midway point of his junior year. There the announcement is being made, and you hear the big applause in the background.
That one-sided win over Indiana brought back many memories of hard-fought victories over another Big Ten school from the same state, Purdue. One of the most memorable clashes with the Boilermakers took place in 1968. Purdue was a highly touted team, boasting a pair of stars named Mike Phipps and Leroy Keys. When the season opened, many Big Ten observers thought that Purdue had the inside track on the conference title. But a brash, young, super-talented Buckeye team rained on the Boilermakers' parade. The Ohio State offense featured Rex Kern at quarterback, Jim Otis at fullback, Jan White at tight end, and a pair of All-American tackles, Dave Foley and Rufus Mays. But in 1968, it was the young and awesome Buckeye defense that really boiled the Boilermakers. Ted Provost batted down this Mike Phipps pass.
There's a pass that is knocked down by Provost, intended for Dillingham. Provost just timed it right and knocked that one down in midair.
Then Mike Sensabaugh did the same thing, frustrating Leroy Keys.
Keys wide to the right. Dillingham in the right slot as Phipps again goes back to throw. He has time. Now they're rushing him, and he's going long for Keys. And it is busted up by Sensabaugh.
Sometimes Phipps never got a chance to pass. Take this Jack Tatum sack for an example.
Again, Phipps goes back to throw. This time he's being rushed and he evades Whitfield. And now Tatum is after him, and Tatum gets him. Tatum at the 48-yard line. And this time it was not against the tackle that he was racing, but he was racing against a man who can do the 100 in under 10 flat, Jack Tatum.
To add insult to injury, Dave Whitfield nailed Phipps for this 13-yard loss.
Phipps going back to throw again. They're rushing him now, and they get him back on the Purdue 39-yard line. Dave Whitfield, Paul Schmidlin, both barreled in there and got him. And the Buckeye defensive unit has been something to see today. 4th down and 31 yards to go for the Boilermakers back on their own 39. And the Ohio State Buckeye defensive unit has been covering itself with glory.
The Buckeyes won that game 13-0. 2 years later, on November 14th, 1970, the Buckeyes would find themselves involved in a real seat squirmer with the Purdue Boilermakers, a game that would eventually be decided by the right foot of little Fred Schramm.
18 yards in from the far side of the field, and Schramm is going to boot it. Here's the boot. It's up. It's good. Ohio State leads 10-7. Ohio State tried the field goal. It was a 30-yard field goal, and they're ahead in the ball game, 10-7. Delirium on the Ohio State bench as they rush out to pound their offensive teammates on the back, with Schramm being the center of much attention when Ohio State tries the field goal, makes it good, a 30-yard field goal, kicked from the 20-yard line.
The 74 Buckeyes climbed to the top of the national charts by demolishing Northwestern 55-7. and stretching their season total to 7 wins without even the semblance of a loss. The game was tied at 7-7 in the first quarter when speedy Lenny Willis returned a Northwestern kickoff 91 yards for a touchdown.
Willis is down deep in the middle. Archie Griffin is up. And along with Bashnegler goes down the middle. Willis picks it up on the 9, the 10, starts at the east side, 20, look out, 25, 30, he's loose to the 40. He's going to go all the way, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, he scores! 91 yards, Len Willis blazes with a kickoff, and Ohio State blows this crowd, and the Buckeyes just mobbed Willis in the end zone.
Northwestern's quarterback, Mitch Anderson, had his first pass of the game picked off. So on Northwestern's next possession, Anderson stayed exclusively on the ground, and the result was a touchdown. However, after Willis's touchdown, Anderson decided to test the Buckeye pass defense a second time, and it proved fatal, as All-American Neil Colsey came up with an interception.
Anderson drops back when it takes to the air for the second time today, throws one way downfield, is intercepted by Colsey. He is dropped immediately as he ran into his own player. It's 2 for 2 on interception.
The Buckeyes then moved down the field to the Northwestern 11, where Archie Griffin scored.
Here the Buckeyes, straight T backfield, 2nd down and 4 on the 11, Northwestern's 11. It is Archie Griffin trying to get the outside 5, and he scores! Archie rolled off a hole and blockers where there were none and went 11 yards, and he gets his 9th touchdown of the year, and Ohio State goes up 20-7.
The first half ended with the Buckeyes out in front by a 28-7 score. For Northwestern, the second half started just as miserably as the first half had ended.
High kick going downfield. Willis will take it at the 8. Fumbles the ball. It is picked up by Willis, and he's hit immediately. Fumbles it again. Northwestern gets it, I believe. Willis fumbled the ball twice, got it the first time, lost it the second time, and Northwestern falls on the ball at the 14-yard line. So there's a big break for the Northwestern Wildcats, as Willis twice played dropsy and wound up losing the football on his own 14-yard line. So the Wildcats have a Jim Hutchings fall on the ball at the 14-yard line. Northwestern suddenly goes to offense. Wait a minute. They rule that the play was dead. They blew the ball dead at the 14-yard line. Tom, doesn't that surprise you?
Well, it's not a popular decision to the crowd here at Dyke Stadium. The referees were there, and apparently it came squirting out. But that's what the boos are for in the background. Ohio State retains possession on their 14, leading 28-7.
Ohio State then kept the ball on the ground, churning out the yardage in true Ohio State fashion for the touchdown.
It's 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. The ball is given off to Bashnagel. Touchdown off left guard. What blocking on the left side of the line. as Schumacher and Smith just chopped them down. And Bashnagel, who doesn't need all that much help, went over with ridiculous ease to score a touchdown, and now Ohio State leads 34-7.
From that point on, Woody Hayes inserted his second and third stringers, and they also made mincemeat of the Northwestern Wildcats as the Buckeyes cruised to a 55-7 win. Following their impressive victory over Northwestern, the Buckeyes took on Illinois. The Fighting Illini were easy prey for Ohio State, falling by a score of 49-7. The game was close for most of the first half, knotted at 7-7. But midway through the second quarter, the Buckeyes started to assert themselves. After taking an Illinois punt on their own 25, the Scarlet and Gray moved downfield in 13 plays to take the lead.
Second and 8 on their 15, tie game. Green on the option, comes to the outside, breaks the tackle, gets to 15, sprints to 10, the 5, he's in! He scores! Cornelius Green legs it 15 yards, and the tie is broken, and it's 13 Ohio State, 7 Illinois.
The Buckeyes took the second half kickoff and moved 77 yards for their fourth touchdown of the day. Archie Griffin went the final 22 yards, and for Archie and college football historians, it was a very special moment.
Green with the ball, gives off to Griffin. He's got a hole. Touchdown. Griffin goes right through the middle. They overloaded the Illinois defense, and what a block by Ted Smith and Kurt Schumacher. Griffin goes over, and that is it. 106 yards. 106 yards by Archie Griffin, and there is a national collegiate record. The 19th straight game that the little guy has run for over 100 yards. So the fans do not completely realize it yet. Many do, especially those with transistors. And here comes Griffin off the field, and that is 106 yards in rushing for little Arch.
Woody Hayes went to his bench after that, and they managed to ring up 3 more scores to account for the final score of 49-7, and Woody Hayes' 200th coaching career victory.
All right, last play of the football game, barring a penalty. Prather is in there at the quarterback spot, going to keep the ball, cuts in for an option, gets a couple of yards to the 22-yard line, and that's the end of the football game. The scene, rather dramatic one here at Ohio Stadium. Woody Hayes was carried by the members of his team along with Archie Griffin out to the center of the field. Somebody presented him with some kind of emblem with a 200 on it. We could not tell at this great distance exactly what it was. They've announced over the public address system that the victory bell, which you can probably hear in the background, will be sounded 200 times, each symbolic of a victory in college football for head coach Woody Hayes. So I don't know whether we can outlast that one or not. But in any event, very dramatic scene here in Ohio Stadium today. A record crowd, 87,813 fans were on hand. The Ohio State Buckeyes handily defeated Illinois 49-7. Archie Griffin set an all-time national collegiate rushing record by going 146 yards, and thereby for the 19th consecutive game of his career had rushed for over 100 yards. That has never been done in the history of college football. And then Woody Hayes became only the second active coach in the country of a major college to win 200 college victories, and that one came today as Ohio won it 49-7.
So now the Buckeyes were 8-0 in the 1974 season, and everything was starting to come up smelling like roses. The Rose Bowl, that is. However, looming on the horizon was a major stumbling block. It was the Spartans of Michigan State.
I loved hearing the radio broadcast from that era. Plus, the all-brass Buckeye band still sounds the same. Okay, why this record for this episode? Because I've been waiting to pull this one out at just this moment. I knew it was bound to happen eventually, and I hope you're enjoying it. Now let me tell you about my dad's vinyl I am spinning for this episode. Marv Holman, Great Moments in Ohio State Football, a tribute to Woody Hayes. It's on the Fleetwood Records label number FMS 1009. It's a vinyl 12-inch 33 1/3 RPM compilation stereo format. I'm not sure why they listed all that out. It was released in 1975, probably. There was no year anywhere, but that makes the most sense. Its genre is non-music, and its style is spoken word. Now, the liner notes are short and not very exciting, so I'll skip those. But inside the gatefold also shows photos of many of the famous players for the Buckeyes from 1916 through 1974. Okay, let's see what prices this record is being sold at on Discogs.com. $8 for a high, $1.12 for a low, gives it a $3.43 average and a $2.99 median. It was last sold on February 2nd, 2024 for $5. My dad's record is in really good condition. However, the cheapness of the material used on these records didn't hold up very well, and I had to really wash it and then use the heaviest weight on my tone arm to fix the nasty skips that were on side one. The cover is in fair condition. There's those wear marks that show the outline of the record on the back, but since it's a gatefold, they are not evident on the front. And there are no markings on the back and no address label. So I'll value my dad's vinyl at $1.50. Maybe that latest championship made it more valuable. Who knows? Now, yesterday's victory added the name Ryan Day to the list of head coaches that have won national championships at OSU. The others are Paul Brown, Woody Hayes, Jim Tressel, and Urban Meyer, which makes it time now for this episode's interesting side note, and it has to do with that last name I just mentioned. And don't worry, it's a very short one. My daughter graduated from the same high school as Urban Meyer, St. John in Ashtabula, Ohio. And I met Urban back when he was the head coach of Utah. He was the best man in a friend's wedding in 2002, and he had to come back to Ashtabula for that. Okay, let's move on. During side B of this record, you are going to hear the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner set a bunch of NCAA and Buckeye records, plus a milestone for Woody Hayes for his 200th victory at the collegiate level.
So far, we've traveled through some of the happier moments in Ohio State football. Now we return to November 9th, 1974 at East Lansing, Michigan, and recall one of the most bitter defeats in Buckeye history. It was a game that was finally decided 45 minutes after the final play by the Big Ten commissioner after conferring with the game officials. For 3 quarters, it was a battle of defenses and field goals, as Ohio State led by a score of 6-3. Then, in the 4th quarter, the Buckeyes got a big break when Spartan quarterback Charlie Baggett fumbled at his own 44-yard line.
Jackson and Bays in the running positions off the I. The sprint out by Baggett, and he comes up the middle of 30, fumbles, and it's Ohio State ball! Ohio State ball! He fumbles as Green did. And Steve Luke falls on the football on the 45-yard line, I believe it is, or 43-yard line. And this is a game of blunders, errors and blunders. 1st and 10, Ohio State from the 44-yard line. And the Buckeyes get another chance.
Behind the strong running of Champ Henson, Archie Griffin, and Brian Baschnagel, the Buckeyes moved to the Spartan 1. Champ Henson did the honors.
The ball on the 1-yard line. Again, the full house backfield. Green under center. Waiting for the snap. He gives to Henson, and it's a touchdown, Ohio. And they now have a 12-3 lead, and the Buckeyes take it in, finally. Baschnagel will hold. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. 13-3 Ohio, 9:03 remaining in the game.
Michigan State countered by marching 80 yards in 7 plays to narrow the margin to 13-9. In the closing minutes, Ohio State had the game all but won when Levi Jackson broke loose on an 88-yard run around his own right end.
Slot left. The running backs are Jackson and Bays. It is Jackson loose at the 30. He may go all the way. Jimmy Fox has a shot on him and misses him. He's going for a touchdown. Levi Jackson goes all the way for a touchdown. And the Spartans lead it 15-13. And the fans are out on the field. He went 88 yards. 88 yards for a touchdown.
With their undefeated season and their #1 national ranking on the line, the Buckeyes had the poise, talent, and guts to battle back in the last desperate, ill-fated drive.
A tight T with the 2 tight ends, France and Bartosik. Griffin, Henson, and Bashnagel are the running backs. It is Henson forging his way forward to about the 1-yard line. 20 seconds and running. He didn't get in, I don't believe. 12 seconds, 11, 10, and counting. 7 seconds. And are they going to give him a chance to get a playoff? They didn't give him a chance to get the playoff.
That nightmarish finish will be hard to erase from the memories of all Buckeye fans. But through the years, there were many happier and more fruitful ventures against the Spartans. For example, take this 54-21 blowout against Michigan State in 1969.
Foreman wide to the right. Again, it's that Y formation. As Triplett goes back to throw, and he gets the pass away. It's intercepted by DeBevick. DeBevick goes in for a touchdown. DeBevick scores on an interception. Ohio 6, Michigan State nothing. Mark DeBevick, the pioneer, caught the pass intended for the split end Foreman and scored. Ohio 6, Michigan State nothing. Jan White, with Campana holding, will attempt the conversion. Ohio 6, Michigan State nothing. Here's the snap. The ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good. The ball at the 33, 1st and 10 for Michigan State as Foreman comes wide to the left. It is Love in at left halfback. And there's a fumble back there. We'll see who gets the football. Ohio State fumble, picks up the fumble. I believe it was Sensabaugh or DeBevick. It may have been DeBevick again. It is Mark DeBevick. The Geneva junior is having himself a ball game. The ball is at the 26-yard line of Michigan State, and the Buckeyes go to the offense. Zelina has come in with the play from the bench, replacing Gillian, and again the Bucks go into the tight T with 9 minutes remaining in the first period. They lead 7-0. Kern with a quick count. Quarterback sneak. He's in for the score. Rex Kern scores. Ohio leads 13-0. Ball is towed down. The kick is up and through, and it's 14-0. Ohio over Michigan State. Here's the boot, and it's a low bouncing kick, which Zelina is trying to handle. It is 27, back to the 30, to the 40, to the 45, the 50. He may go all the way. Zelina all the way. Touchdown, Ohio. And a block was thrown for him at the sidelines. A beautiful block at the sidelines. And it was Timmy Anderson, I believe, that threw the block. Tim Anderson, a 73-yard scamper. And the Bucks lead 20-0.
The 74 Buckeyes, angry and frustrated over the disputed loss to Michigan State, took out their vengeance on Iowa the following week, defeating the Hawkeyes 35-10. Iowa took the opening kickoff and started marching down the field, but a costly fumble at the Ohio State 31 stemmed the tide.
A wing T, Wellington, wide right. The setbacks are Jensen and Holmes. The give is to Jensen. He has running room close to the 40. Fumble! And it's Ohio State recovering it. Ohio State recovers on the 31-yard line.
Ohio State then took over and moved down the field for their first score of the afternoon.
Griffin, Henson, and Baschnagel, a running back. The give is to Henson, and Henson spins off the tacklers and goes in for the touchdown. 6-0, Ohio.
In the second quarter, another Iowa turnover led to the Buckeyes' second touchdown. Steve Luke started things by picking off an Iowa pass at the Hawkeye 34.
Fick going back to throw, has time, throwing long, and it is intercepted by Luke, and Luke's knee goes down on the 34-yard line. He got up and ran with it, but his knee touched, intended for Jensen, and so they paid for their passing with Luke grabbing the ball at the 35-yard line. His knee touched between the 34 and 35.
Then, in 3 plays, the Buckeyes made the score 14-0.
First and 10 from the 18-yard line, slot right. Griffin and Henson are the running backs in the eye. The give is to Griffin, who comes up the middle, has a hole, 10, 5, and he's going to go in for the score. Touchdown, Griffin. A run of 18 yards for Archie Griffin, and Ohio State leads it 13-0. Archie again proving why he's everybody's All-American, and how they can choose anybody else for the Heisman is beyond me.
Iowa then managed to narrow the score to 14-10. But in the third quarter, Ohio State took full command, scoring 3 times.
Full house backfield, hoping to run behind Schumacher, I would presume. And it is Henson getting into the end zone behind Schumacher, who got the big block. So big Kurt Schumacher, who was unable to play against Michigan State, comes in for the goal line play, and he gets the block which brings Henson into the end zone. So the clock running with 1:20 remaining as Morrison sets up, sending Willis in motion, left to right, and he gives to Pete Johnson, and Johnson's in for the score. Johnson rolling over right guard is in for the score. Touchdown, Ohio.
Down through the years, there have been many memorable battles between Ohio State and Iowa. Some ended on rather sour notes for Buckeye followers, such as the 1956 game, a 6-0 loss that saw Ohio State's 17-game Big Ten winning streak come to an end.
The line is split, flanker right Hampel. Here is Kenny Plain rolling out, firing a pass downfield, complete.
Seconds left to go in the third quarter. Iowa has scored, and a pass from quarterback Ken Plain to left end to Jim Gibbons.
Fourth down, 30 yards to go. Buckeyes ball on their own 12. Elwood pitching out to Roseboro, back to throw at the 2. He is clobbered at the 20-yard line by Iowa's Ellis Karras, and the Ohio State threat is dead at that point. Time is called now, 13 seconds. They're trying to wave time out, but the clock shows it's still running. Iowa huddling quickly. The Hawkeyes have the ball on the 3-yard line of Ohio State. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. They're up to the line of scrimmage, but one of the Buckeyes is offside. 2 seconds, 1 second. This game is history. The Hawkeyes are on the field, swarming their teammates. The flags are down, but this ball game is over. Iowa has upset Ohio State 6-0, breaking the longest winning streak in Big Ten history, and Iowa now has at least a share of the Big Ten championship.
The 1974 season, like so many seasons for decades past, came down to a final critical game against arch-rival Michigan. It seems that somewhere in the scriptures of Isaiah, it was written that the Big Ten title and the trip to the Rose Bowl would go to the winner of the Ohio State-Michigan game. For years, this has been the big one for Big Ten fans. For Coach Woody Hayes, this battle against the Wolverines was a major encounter. Woody had been at Ohio State since 1951 and had immensely enriched the Buckeye winning tradition. Flamboyant and controversial on one hand, philosophical and devoted on the other, Woody is as much a part of the Buckeye tradition as anyone.
Well, I think in a way some of these coaches made it difficult for themselves. They weren't ready for the problems that were here. And I was willing to accept these problems and accept that any job with this great pressure on it. When you have 70 or 80,000 people at all your games, there's bound to be pressure and bound to be problems, and it was my job to solve them, not throw up my hands and run away.
If you were a Portuguese soccer fan, a Chinese ping pong fan, or a neighborhood cribbage fan who didn't give a hoot about college football, the 1974 Buckeye-Wolverine game meant nothing. But if you were a football fan, especially a Buckeye football fan, this game meant everything. It wasn't just a game to decide the Big Ten championship. It is a game that seems to go on and on endlessly since day one. Who's better, Ohio State or Michigan? In 1974, Ohio State won the game, thanks to the strong right leg of Tom Claiborne and a stout Buckeye defense.
Michigan third down a long yardage. Franklin back to pass. Two men crossing. Throwing down the middle. It is intercepted by Bruce Filia on the 45, the 50, the 45 of Michigan. Rams and goes to the 44. Griffin's a deep man. He usually gets him in situations like this. Johnson, the full, is close. Bashnagel in motion. Green awaits to snap. Ride play, gives to Archie Griffin. He gets the 20, he gets the 15, gets the first down and goes to the 11. It'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt by Claiborne. It'll be spotted on the 15. The ball's down. Claiborne kicks it. Bashnagel holds his hands in the air. So does the referee. It is good. 25-yard field goal by Tom Claiborne. Option play. Franklin pitching out to Bell. He's hit and dropped. Beautiful play, and he's dropped back on the 34. Jim Curto hit him on the pitch, and now Michigan will be fourth down. Ohio State lines up. Clock begins to move. 19 seconds. Cornelius Green dropping back, throwing to the sidelines. Got a man down there. Hazel on the 35 and out of bounds. He's within field goal range. Michigan leading 10-6. 6 seconds to go in the first half. Tom Claiborne with 2 field goals tries to make it 3. Bashnagel will hold the ball on the 32. It's a wide right to left angle. There's the snap, the kick. It's high. It's got the distance. And it is good. 3 field goals by Tom Claiborne. And the Buckeyes, who trailed 10-0, now trail 10-9.
It'll be fourth down. They're going to mark it at the Michigan 28-yard line, and here comes Tom Claiborne. Here comes the field goal kicking team as that excellent Michigan defense is held again. Michigan aligns itself to try to block the field goal try. Holding is Brian Bashnagel at the 35. It is set down. It is kicked. It is high. It has the distance. And it is good. And Ohio State takes the lead. So the score is Ohio State 12, Michigan 10. Wide to the left comes Jim Smith. In the slot is Gil Chapman. Single coverage on both. Ohio State loosens its defense. Back to pass is Franklin. He has time. He gets away, is in trouble, and tackled at about the 33. So the Wolverines face a kicking situation. Franklin obviously could not find anybody open because he did have good protection.
18 seconds to go. The ball will be on the 22. 32-yard attempt. Here's Marv.
The Big Ten championship, the Rose Bowl, will be decided on this kick. Drake holding. Let's watch it carefully. A good pass from center. It's set down. The kick is high. It has the distance. It is no good. He missed it. It is no good. In 1973, the Buckeye-Wolverine game was a 10-10 standoff. In 1972, the Buckeyes reigned supreme. But once again, it was a thriller that ended up Ohio State 14, Michigan 11.
Hazel wide left. Galbos is in the left slot. Keith and Griffin are the running backs. Here's a pitch out to Griffin, sweeping wide. He's at the 40 and down inside about the 37-yard line. He may have gotten the first down. We'll see where they spot the football. As Griffin refused to go down, finally Greg Ellis pulled him down from behind. Here's Bartosik coming wide right. Galbos is in the right slot. Keith and Griffin are the running backs. Michigan in a 5-2. Here's Griffin with running room to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, inside the 5, to the 3. Archie Griffin gives the Buckeyes a first and goal to go from the 3-yard line. So it's third and goal to go. And again, Hare asks for quiet so the Buckeyes can hear the signals. 3rd and 1. It is Henson. Touchdown, Ohio. His 20th touchdown of the year. And the Buckeyes go ahead 6-3. And listen to this ball go wild. a 46-yard march in 8 plays, with Henson going in from the 1-foot mark. And now Blair Conway, with Bashnagel holding, will attempt the conversion. Ball is towed down, the kick is up, and it's good. 7-3, Ohio leading. The Buckeyes with 11 men at the line of scrimmage. It is a pitch out, and they knock it out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Dan DeCree and Arnie Jones make the play with 28 seconds remaining in the half, and he lost about 1.5 yards on the play if they'd marked the ball at the 2.5, and so they do. The Buckeyes digging in, hoping to take a 4-point lead in at halftime. 28 seconds remaining. Again, it's the power eye. Thornblatt and Heater are the running backs. Franklin pitching out to Heater. Heater slips and falls, and he's knocked down at about the 2. And the seconds are ticking away, and now Michigan again calls for timeout, stopping the clock with 19 seconds. Thornblatt and Heater are the running backs in the power I. Ohio State has 11 men practically at the goal line. Here's Franklin giving to Thornblatt, and I believe they held. No sign of a touchdown. And again, it is a timeout. And what was there, a fumble? We're waiting to see. The officials seem to be. And Michigan calls for timeout with 11 seconds remaining. And the ball is about 1.5 feet away from pay dirt. And it's a 4th down play with 11 seconds. Again, the Buckeyes are masked. Franklin with a long count, fumbles, and the Buckeyes hold. The Buckeyes hold. He fumbles the snap, and the Buckeyes hold. 7 seconds remaining, and listen to this crowd. Hare sets up with a slot. And it's a keeper with Hare going inside at the 40, cutting at the 45, the 50, the 45 of Michigan, the 40 of Michigan, the 35, and out of bounds on the 30-yard line of Michigan. A beautiful run by Greg Hare. He shook off tacklers like you shake off rainwater. 1st and 10 from the Michigan 30. It's a slot left with Galbus in the slot. Again, it's a 5-2 defense. And it is Griffin coming up the middle, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Griffin goes 30 yards for touchdown. And the Buckeyes lead it 13-3, and they're mobbing Griffin. The Buckeye team is mobbing Griffin. He broke through the line of scrimmage and went outside, and he beat the safety man Brown into the southwest corner. So on 2 successive plays, they get 35 and 30. 65 yards in 2 plays for the touchdown. Conway will kick. Bashnagel will hold. 13-3. The kick is up. It is good. 14-3. Ohio State over Michigan.
1971 was Michigan's year, as they beat the Buckeyes 10-7. But in 1970, Ohio State ruled the roost by a 20-9 score.
He drops back. He looks. He fires a long pass. Complete. The 4 touchdown Ohio State. Bruce Stankowski has just scored his first touchdown of the year. And Bruce Stankowski brings this crowd of 87,000 roaring to the streets. A 26-yard aerial bomb. Ohio State is out in front 9-3. So Schramm comes in. Holding will be Campana. He's going to try apparently for a field goal from the 17. Here's the snap. The kick is up. It's good. Fred Schramm has kicked his second field goal of the day, his 6th of the year. With 10:49 left to play. The score, Ohio State 13, Michigan 9. Kern calls for quiet from the crowd, and he gets it instantly. He turns. He fakes the Rocky kick. He goes right. He gives. Touchdown. Leo Hayden taking the pitch from Moorhead. Goes in unmolested, turning the right corner. And the Ohio State Buckeyes have scored quickly and suddenly, following the interception by Stan White.
I guess we could go on and on forever, but maybe the classic 1954 game sums it up best of all. Coach Woody Hayes recalls,
Second half, we came back, and as you mentioned, there on the 6-inch line, we stopped Michigan and took the ball and marched 99 yards, 2 feet and 6 inches, which turned out to be the winning score and to take us all the way to the national championship and to the Rose Bowl.
This early day struggle for the Rose Bowl was played on a cold, snowy day in Columbus. It was a fitting climax to a sensational season that saw Ohio State go undefeated and win the national championship. One of the all-time legends of Ohio State football, Howard Hopalong Cassidy, played an important role in that game.
Just being with this ball team and just feeling like you're a part of a great team. When the boys can play together like that, you can sort of sense a feeling. It's hard to explain it.
Back to Columbus in 1954, Michigan took an early lead in the game and seemed pretty much in command throughout the first half. But an interception in the waning minutes of the first half put the Buckeyes in great field position.
2nd down and 5 for Michigan. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Bobo is being taken to the dressing room, but he's limping. Right here's the fullback draw, and the quarterback keeps the ball, and it's intercepted by Ohio State. He may go for the touchdown. I believe he's going to go. He's going to go if he gets the block. Oh, he was knocked down on the 9-yard line. It was Jim's the fullback, and it's Ohio State's ball. They get a break there on the 10. Looked like he was going to go all the way, but he didn't get that block, and the safety man of Michigan finally caught him, knocked him out of bounds on the Michigan 10-yard line. And there's the first excitement of the afternoon for Ohio State.
After a penalty moved the ball to the Michigan 15, Dave Leggett took to the air.
All right, Ohio State goes. 1st and goal to go on the Michigan 15. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Davey Leggett is in tight, and there it is, the option play. Dave Leggett fades back. There's a pass. It's good for a touchdown in the end zone. A touchdown for Ohio State. Who got that? Chris, I believe. It was Chris in the end zone on the first play, and it's 7-6. Oh, how the fortunes of Michigan change on an interception. And here comes Tad Weed into the ball game. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that was the heartbreaker for Michigan. Leggett will hold. The lines are low. They're asking for quiet. The lines are low. Davey Leggett holding. There's the pass. There's the boot. The ball's in the air. It is good. It is good. Listen to that crowd.
While Cassidy spearheaded the Buckeye offense, a sensational sophomore named Jim Parker headed the defense. Parker would graduate to the National Football League and eventually be voted the league's all-time outstanding lineman. In fact, in 1954, it was Parker and the Buckeye defense that turned the game around. Listen to this third quarter goal line stand.
Now Ohio State is using a 9-man line. Strong side shift to the right. And the ball goes back to the fullback, and he hits the middle, but he doesn't go very far. They're packed up on the 3. It's Duggar and Helinski. So it'll be 2nd down, goal to go. Every inch is important. The ball is on. Well, it's almost 3 yards to go. Almost 3 yards to go. 2nd down, goal to go for Michigan. And Ohio State line are down there on their knees now, ready to submarine if they can. It's a T formation. There it goes. And the play is stopped. The play is stopped on the 3.5. It was Reichenbaugh. Ooh, what a vicious clawing those two lines gave each other in there. It was Klein on a power drive right through the middle. So the ball is still on the 3-yard line on this 3rd down. All right, there's the fullback with the play. And I believe he may be stopped. He may be stopped. I don't believe he's in. We're all waiting. There's quiet here between 82,500. No signal from the field. It is 4th down coming up, and the ball is... Well, it's about 1.5 feet. It's about 1.5 feet. 4th down for Michigan, and they have 1.5 feet to go for a touchdown. There it is. And he don't make it. He does not make it, I don't believe. I don't believe he makes it. It is Ohio State's ball. He misses by about 5 inches. Oh, brother. That Reichenbaugh leaps up in the air and speared that fullback, Dave Hill. He did not go over. Oh, what magnificent line play by Ohio State. They haven't been playing well this afternoon, but they certainly deserve a lot of credit there. Michigan with that ball on the 3-yard line, 4 downs, and they fail.
This is Jim Parker, former Ohio State football player. 1954, I was fortunate enough to play in the Michigan-Ohio State game. And the goal line stands, I guess, was a turning point in that particular game. Michigan had 4 downs to make 2 feet. And I was playing linebacker, middle linebacker, and I was very fortunate to be in on the 3 of the 4 tackles. Woody was real excited about it, He showed me anybody can hold a football team can win a football game. He was a real active type coach. He showed his emotions on the field and before a football game. In Big Ten football, half of it is emotions anyway, and the other half is played on the football field. It's the coach that can get his team up emotionally and physically ready to play football is usually your Big Ten champions. And Woody have done a terrific job of doing this.
The Buckeyes then took over and went 99 yards, 2 feet, and 6 inches for a touchdown. One of the key plays in the drive was a 57-yard run by Hopalong Cassidy.
And here's a quick opening play, and the ball goes to Hop, and he's through there. And he may go all the way. Look out for this one. He's up to the midfield marker. He's in the Michigan territory, and he's out of bounds on the Michigan 37. There he goes, Hopalong Cassidy, an All-American, with a beautiful hole open there by Reichenbaugh and by Tracer. There are no flags on the field, and so it's Ohio State's ball. With a beautiful run by Hopalong Cassidy, he was run out of bounds on the side of the field by Ed Hickey, who was also a speech merchant. Well, there you are. That's Ohio's All-American, Hopalong Cassidy, with Ohio State with their backs to the wall. He broke through on the right side. We must say that hole was opened by Reichenbaugh. Pricer, how many yards, Bob? 57 yards for Hopalong, and it's Ohio's ball, first down on the Michigan 37-yard line. Third down and 8 for Ohio State. Arkwriter is split a little bit on the right, and it's a fake fullback draw. Leggett has the ball. He gets a block. Now he's going to throw. He does. It's a touchdown for Ohio State in the end zone. A beautifully executed play to Brubaker. Brubaker grabs that pass in the end zone. He was covered by Hickey, and it's a touchdown for Ohio State. Ohio State 13 and Michigan 7.
In the fourth quarter, the Buckeyes salted the game away. Cassidy started things with this interception.
All right, they're into a single wing. This time they shifted the right. Klein as the tailback. The ball goes back to Klein. He's fading back to throw. He's going to throw a long one. Look out for that one. And it's intercepted by Cassidy on the Ohio State 25, up to the 30, up to the 35, over the 35, and up to the Ohio State 38, where Jerry Goebel finally knocks him down. So Ohio is back in possession of the ball on their own 39-yard line is where they're going to set it. First and 10 on the 39. Hop Cassidy making that catch. So the clock says 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the ball game.
Then, in 12 plays, the Buckeyes went in for another score, with Hopalong scoring the crowning touchdown.
It's third down and 6. Davey Leggett takes the ball, and here's the fullback draw. It's a good one down the middle, and he might go all the way. He's up to the Michigan 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, and he's out of bounds to the Michigan 15-yard line. A beautiful block in there that time. That was a fullback draw right down the middle, with a hole open in there by Schwartz, Parker, Big Thornton, Reichenbaugh, and Mashinsky, and the ball is on the Michigan 15-yard line. Jim Maddox finally knocking him out of bounds. It's a first down for Ohio State. Michigan is using a 7-man line, and here's that pass play. Davey Leggett is running with it, and he's caught, but he's going to throw that ball anyway. He does. He throws it to Harkrader, and Harkrader is out of bounds on the 1-foot line. Oh, Davey Leggett was steered back on the 25. Third down, 54 seconds. Here we go. There it is, Cassidy into the end zone, a touchdown for Ohio State. That was a beautiful handoff by Dave Leggett to Cassidy. Cassidy went through. You couldn't have stopped him that time, leaving with the United States Army and the Navy together.
The goal of every Big Ten football team is the Rose Bowl. Every move, every play, every game of the season is aimed at winning the Big Ten title and earning the trip west for New Year's Day. The Ohio State Buckeyes have made 9 such trips, going all the way back to the 1921 game. During Woody Hayes' 24-year tenure at Ohio State, the Buckeyes have made 7 trips to Pasadena. Their first was in 1955, when they defeated Southern California by a 20-7 score. In 1958, they returned again and defeated Oregon by a 10-7 margin. In 1969, they made their Rose Bowl record under Woody Hayes a perfect 3-0 when they beat Southern California 27-16. The Buckeyes got off to a slow start in that game as Southern California jumped to a quick 10-0 lead, thanks in large measure to one O.J. Simpson.
Trojans out of the huddle. Southern Cal's ball on the SC 20-yard line. Soggy looks over the defense, gets that ball, pitches back to Simpson, running wide to the 20, the 25, the 30, breaks the way to the 35. He may go all the way. He's at the 45, the 50, the Ohio State 30, 25, Simpson all the way. An 80-yard run by O.J. Simpson. out. The Simpson running wide to the left. He broke through the line of scrimmage, streaked through the secondary, reversed his field, cut for the east sideline, and goes 80 yards to score.
But Ohio State came storming back. First, Rex Kern hit Ray Gillian at the 3.
Kern back to pass, has time, throws it upfield. Caught by Gillian at the 4, and he falls at the 3. Gillian a fingertip catch at the 4-yard line, and then went sprawling at the 3, and it's a first down for Ohio State.
From there, Jim Otis powered over for Ohio State's first touchdown.
The clock shows 1:49 left. Kern with the ball. Otis over the top. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Ohio State then moved out to a 13-10 lead, thanks to 2 26-yard field goals by Jim Roman.
And now Jim Roman comes in to try a field goal. This will be attempted from the 16-yard line, so it'll be a 26-yarder. It is set down. Roman kicks it. It's high. It's good. The score is tied. A brand new football game.
The ball is at the USC 8. It'll be 4th and 1. And what will Woody Hayes do here? He's going to try a field goal. Third-string quarterback Bill Long comes in to hold, and Jim Roman will boot. He has good field position, straight on at the goalpost, straight in the middle of the field. He will boot this one from the 15-yard line. The center is Mulbach. Holding will be Bill Long, and kicking will be Roman. Snap back, place down, the kick is up. It's good! A 25-yard field goal by Jim Roman. And Ohio State takes the lead for the first time this afternoon in this Rose Bowl football game.
The Ohio State defense then took over and forced Trojan quarterback Steve Soggy to cough up the football.
From the Trojan 30, Soggy is back to pass. The pressure is on. They grab him, fumbles the ball at the 22, and Ohio State has recovered.
After a long gainer by Rex Kern down to the USC 4, Kern took to the air and found Leo Hayden in the end zone.
Now it is 3rd and goal for Ohio State at the Trojan 4. Kern almost falls down. He throws in the end zone. Touchdown to Leo Hayden.
In the first half, O.J. Simpson could do no wrong. In the second half, he proved that he was only human.
Ohio State 20, Southern California 10. In first downs, Ohio State leads that one 18-11. Wide to the left, Dickerson. In the slot to the left is Jim Lawrence. Back to throw, Soggy. He looks downfield. Little swing pass complete to Simpson at the 15. Simpson fumbles the ball at the 18, recovered by Ohio State. The Buckeyes recover another fumble. That's the 4th USC fumble in the game and the 3rd Ohio State recovery.
The Buckeyes took advantage of their good fortune to move in for the touchdown.
First and 10 for Ohio State on the Trojan 16-yard line. Jankowski split off to the left side. High formation, Kern back to throw, pitches across the middle, complete to Gillian, 10, 5, touchdown Ohio State!
Southern Cal tried to get back in the game, but the Buckeye defense was equal to the task.
Back to throw, Soggy. He throws in the end zone to Dickerson. He can't get the ball. It's intercepted. Mike Pulaski made the interception for Ohio State.
In 1970, they again returned to the Rose Bowl, and for the first time under Woody Hayes, Ohio State lost 27-17 to Stanford. In 1973, they were humbled by Southern California by a 42-17 score, but they returned 1 year later and avenged that loss, routing the Trojans 42-21. In that game, Southern California took an early lead, but the Buckeyes came back behind the bruising power of freshman fullback Pete Johnson.
Green has him down. This time it's Johnson. Hammers in. The Buckeyes are on the scoreboard. An 80-yard drive and 18 plays, capped by the running of Pete Johnson who took it in.
However, the Trojans struck back with a touchdown of their own, and it appeared that they just might go off at the half with the lead. But the strong running of Archie Griffin and the great inside strength of Pete Johnson, the Buckeyes knotted the score at the end of the first half.
1:44 to go. Third down and less than 1, Ohio State on the 25. Southern California digs in. Fashionable wing to the right. Here is Griffin. Griffin gets 20 yards. 10. They want to speed inside the 10 down about the 8. And he almost broke that one. Archie
Archie Griffin rolled off tacklers, slant to his right, and gets Ohio State a first and goal on the 8. 51 seconds to go in the half, and the Buckeyes trying to ram one in. Teams are down. Green waits for the snap of the ball, gets it. It is Johnson. He rams over for the score. Another 80-yard drive. Bread and butter on the play. One pass to Fred Puggich. A fine, dazzling 17-yard sprint up the middle by Archie Griffin. And then the battering ram jabs of Pete Johnson, the freshman. And he now has 2 touchdowns this afternoon. And Southern California has that lead 14-13.
In the third quarter, the Trojans went back in front by a 21-14 score. But once again, the Buckeyes came marching back. Behind the spirited passing of Cornelius Green and the running of Pete Johnson, the Ohio State Buckeyes narrowed the score to 21-20.
All right, I formation again for the Buckeyes at the Trojan 43. Green keeps it on his hip. He's back to pass, giving ground a bit now. The 45 fires downfield. It is complete. And inside the 5 with the ball at the Trojan 4-yard line is Fred Puggett. And the Buckeyes are right back knocking at the door, trailing by 7, third period. The give to Johnson. He's going to give it a cut through the SC defensive line as Johnson walked unmolested. His third touchdown of the afternoon.
Ohio State then forged into the lead for good. Neil Colsey got things started with a nifty punt return.
Colsey is deep. Standing back at the Buckeye 40. Oh, big rush by the Buckeyes, but Lucas gets it away. Colsey gives ground to his own 35. Back to the 40. Breaks in the open field across the way with Bartman's in front of him. At the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 10, down to about the 8-yard line. What a brilliant return by Neil Colsey before Ted Roberson can run him down at the Trojan 8-yard line.
Then, on a clutch 4th down play, Cornelius Green put the Buckeyes in front to stay.
4th down. Goal to go from the 1. Full house backfield. Green is asking the crowd for quiet, as is Parker of the Trojans. 4th and goal. Green gives it to Johnson. Oh, Green keeps it himself and skips into the end zone. Oh, beautiful call. Everybody felt Johnson would get it, and Cornelius Green just skipped into pay dirt territory, and the Buckeyes have gone in front.
The Buckeyes upped their lead to 35-21 in the 4th quarter, behind a strong running of Archie Griffin and Bruce Elia.
Green, the quarterback. Full house backfield. Hands off and into the end zone. Elia. And the Buckeyes have scored again.
Then the Buckeyes closed out the day's scoring when Archie Griffin showed why he was an All-American with a picture run of 47 yards.
Just in case Green might go to the air, Bartosik is wide to the right, but there's Griffin bursting to the 40, the 35, the 30, cuts back, he's at the 25, the 20, on his feet at the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Ohio State. What a run by Archie Griffin. What a fitting tribute to one of the best backs we've ever seen. 47 yards in Griffin, breaking tackles, reversing his field, hustled into the end zone, and the Buckeyes have turned it into a rout.
In 1975, the Buckeyes and Trojans met again in Pasadena on New Year's Day, and this time USC won 18-17, but only because of some last-minute dramatics by Pat Hayden and John McKay Jr. For some, it was a sad ending to an otherwise great season, but not really. The Buckeyes had shown what they were made of in 1974. They refused to let a stunning upset to Michigan State ruin their season. Instead, they bounced back to win their final 2 games and the Big Ten title. But maybe the greatest thing about the 1974 season was the performance of Archie Griffin. For 3 years, he had captured the public's fancy with a spectacular play. And in 1974, he received his just reward by winning the most coveted award in college football, the Heisman Trophy.
I couldn't believe it, and I'm not sure now that I do. It is... I wish I knew a way to divide the trophy with every other member on the team, because it belongs to everyone, not just me.
Throughout the years, Buckeye football has had a constant thread of excellence. If anyone can sum up what Ohio State football is really all about, it's athletic director Ed Weaver.
The old cliche of this being the graveyard of coaches, especially football, has been dispelled now for some period of time, since Coach Hayes now goes into his 25th year as head football coach here, and nothing has bothered him in the way of pressure. He's dedicated himself to getting the job done, to winning, to the proper treatment of his young men and success in life after they leave here. And pressures, yes, but they're not of a nature that really concerns me that much. And I'm sure that this might not be true at all institutions.
Many people are responsible for Ohio State's winning spirit through the years. The students, the faculty, the Buckeye fans, the alumni, and the coaching staff. But most of all, head coach Woody Hayes. Woody is a man who has instilled character, confidence, and excellence into each and every man who has had the privilege of his coaching. He's a strategical genius, a meticulous planner, a tireless worker, demanding and receiving his players' best efforts. This album is a tribute to the man, the one man most responsible for Ohio State's football supremacy. Head coach Wayne Woodrow Hayes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. I think I remember this album cover from my growing up days in the house, but I don't ever remember hearing it. Coming from a Buckeye family, especially in the 1960s and 70s, it was probably common to see a record like this around the house. The front cover features a montage of painted-like figures. There's Woody barking orders, Archie during a long run, 3 other older figures in different football poses, and behind it all is Ohio Stadium, known as the Horseshoe, filled to the brim with the Buckeye marching band spelling out Script Ohio. The back cover is filled with actual photographs in a montage style on a green background. Woody stands out in the middle and is joined by Archie and a group of cheerleaders. There are action shots from several games over the years, dating back to the 1920s when players wore helmets with no masks. Several of those photos are from the Michigan game. So thanks for tuning into this special volume, History of a Champion, OHIO, however you did. If you want more information about this show, head over to spinningmydadsvinyl.com. And I'm going to finish this show the way all Ohio State Buckeye football games end, with the band playing and the football team singing Carmen, Ohio. Until next time, go with the flow, my friends. And oh yeah, OHIO!